there are certain things you have to adhere to. There's ethical advertising and how to engage your consumers or your followers. One of the key roles of an influencer is to engage and connect. So if you are not able to engage your followers or your consumers with your posts, you are not able to connect with them on a very personal level, it becomes a problem. So if you are not really aware of how to go around these things, that's when you are able to see the mirage, as you put it, the people who know what they are about and the people who don't know what they are about.
There's high demand for, the interest of becoming an influencer. Maybe it's because of the way people see it from different perspectives. Now, do you think that the way we're going about it lately is taking us to a path where we regret in terms of some of the things people do just to get following? Now it is believed that people can't just do genuine things to even get following in the first place. You need to come up with something quite outrageous, like something totally off. Is that scary?
Yeah, it's a bit scary because of the medium we use. We use social media. Social media is consumer generated. So you basically do what you want. So it's kind of like unregulated. And now we see most of these social media platforms trying to bring people on board and put regulations together. So for instance, when you go on Twitter now, there's a community notes that people are able to verify information and say, okay, this is false, this is true, and so on. So because it's consumer generated, it makes the regulation a bit very, very, very difficult. But I think on both sides, we have to take the blame on both the brand side and the influencer side. Because when you are a brand, one thing you also have to put into focus is research. And when you want to embark on anything, you're supposed to do formative research, and that's what's going to inform what it is you are going to do. So you'll be able to identify an influencer who is in the niche that you're trying to cater to. And because research is very difficult and very laborious, most brands don't really do that. So they just engage whoever they think has a following. But you are supposed to go for someone who is able to appeal to the target audience that you're trying to move to. So I think we are both supposed to take the play.
Nelisa, you are in the soup right now, literally. I mean, you are there, you're seeing it, and you're living it, and all of that. Before you make any decision to be part of any brand, do you take a look at what the brand stands for and what they're likely going to put you in as maybe the benefit that you're supposed to be getting? So they decided that they want you to do this, but you feel that, okay, this will affect me somehow. Are there considerations on that?
There definitely is. I think when choosing to partner with a brand, because it's a partnership at the end of the day, it's not just them, hi, here's the money, you do this and this and that. You need to look at your target market as well. Like, will my audience buy into what I'm selling right now? Because if they're not buying, the brand is not making money, and then in the end it looks like you don't have the selling power. So it comes back, and then maybe they could be in an office one day and be like, no, we worked with her, she actually didn't give us any sales. So you have to be very considerate that not only do you fall in line with the brand's target market, but they fall in line with yours as well. Because it's a partner. If I'm not doing my job, it's going to affect me in the long run, even if it doesn't affect me now. I might get the money, but in the long run, they might have a product that could actually sell to my audience. But because we partnered then and it didn't work, now I'm at a disadvantage in the future. So yes, I have to take a look at everything.
It also comes with a certain sort of pressure. I mean, everybody's doing it. Somebody's getting it. If I'm not doing it, then it means I'm losing out. How do you deal with that? Because most of your friends that, let's even put the reality show Titans, for example. There are people that you went into the reality show with. You all come out, and they are giving themselves to certain brands to use them in certain ways. Now there's a bit of pressure because maybe you want to stick to your values, and so you're not getting that attention or that collaboration that you're supposed to be getting. How do you handle some of these things?
I mean, I keep telling myself that success is a journey. Like, if I sell myself short now, how am I going to make it to the top? Like, where's the ladder? So I need to be patient, first of all. The brands that I want to collaborate with, I need to cater to them. So for everything that I do, I cater to the brands in my head, acting as if I'm already in the position to work with these brands. So selling them already, hi, so by the time I pitch to them, hi, I would like to work with you, this is what I've done. So I'm not going to sell myself short by going to anybody who knocks at my door, because then I'm hindering myself with the image I'm trying to create to get the brands that I want to work with. So just telling myself that success is a journey. It's not gonna, if we're not on the same path, like, why are we, it's not a race. Like, the game is over. Like, I need to keep on reminding myself the game is over. It is not a race. This is the rest of my life. I have to live with this.
Yeah.
I have to live with these decisions here.
Yeah.
Basically.
And so let's look at the competitiveness of that and what it is standing most of the people into right now. Do you think that the pressure that has been mounted on these people to go the extra mile in doing some of the things that ordinarily they will not even do is a brand issue, which is coming from those who want to collaborate with them? Are they the ones that are making it difficult for these young ones out there who are getting into this influencing and all of that, making those decisions they are making today that mostly some of them will regret later?
Yeah, as I said earlier, it's both sides supposed to take the blame, because most of the brands don't really look at the influencer they are engaging with. So for instance, if maybe I'm a sneaker brand, I would want to engage with an influencer who puts out content about sneakers or shoes. And with that in mind, I can be able to tailor my approach and my messaging as well. So I know that, okay, whatever message I'm placing through this influencer, it's getting to consumers who are likely to buy the shoes. And also, some of the influencers don't really have a defined niche. They don't know who they are catering to. They don't know what the makeup of their consumers are. So they just blindly take on any assignment and they just want to execute it. So if most of the brands do their homework as well as the influencers also define their niche, it's going to make things easier.
It means that in the next 2 weeks, if you're going to make that money in that first week, it means that the next 2 weeks, the other week, you're not guaranteed.
Yeah.
Whether or not you're going to make another money. So you probably want to just push the ethics aside and say, okay, but I'm not too sure about what my next paycheck is coming. So let me just go ahead, and I think it's something that we can look at. Yeah. Or you still want to defend that? Well, at the end of the day, it's still what you chose to do. It's still what you decided that you're going to do.
Yes,
So.
with every job, there are side let me say there are downsides to it.
Okay.
Yeah. So knowing how unstable influencing is, you would know that getting into the.
Do people even take a look at that at all? I mean, the current crop of influencers that we're getting, do they even think about the fact that, okay, there are downsides? It's look as if that it's an open business for everybody, so let me just get into it. I mean, regardless of what it comes at.
It's now fast-paced.
But it's harder than it looks. It's not easy. It is not easy. I think people look and think that influencers just wake up and take their phone and post. It is not that easy. There's a lot of work that comes behind the scene. So what ends up happening is they get into this industry, they don't know anything of what they're doing. Now rent is due, and they need to do whatever they need to do to make sure that they have the money in their bank account, and then it's a cycle all over again because nobody knows exactly what they're doing. As he said earlier, that a lot of influencers have never taken a class or anything. I think the only luck that I have on my side is I studied digital marketing. I went into strategic communications.
Yeah.
So I kind of know the basis of where I'm going, even though it's not as fast-paced as my fellow housemates be. But I've got a layout
that you want to follow through.
So yeah. So I think Yeah.
So let me be a bit personal, and I'll come back to you after. Let me be a bit personal on this very issue. Now, have you had to reject any offer from any brand ever since you came out? And maybe it was because of your values or your principles. And what exactly did they want you to do? Maybe put on lingerie or something that you felt it wasn't something you wanted to do?
I haven't had anything to do with ethics. I've had an issue with selling myself short.
Okay.
So I had to look at like my following and my total engagement and tell myself that no, I can make more money than what you're giving me.
Okay.
Like I'll be helping you out. This should be a partnership. What am I getting out of this?
So yours is the money aspect and not the kind of products the way given.
No, I haven't had that problem as of yet. I think what I'm good with, my management team is very good with, is centering around my goals. So everything, they will only push ideas that center around my... Maybe there has been an ethical thing, but I just don't know it. Because they will always only push brands to me and be like, hi Nelisa, I know you said you want to do this and this and this. We've got a brand that will put you in that line. Do you want to do it? And then I'll be yes or no.
Okay.
Yeah.
So actually you were developing the point on that as well.
She raised the point I want to address. So one phenomenon we've come to see now is most of the influencers try to gauge their worth on their following, which is a very wrong metric.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a very wrong
But that's the ultimate.
It's a very wrong metric, and I'll give you an example.
Okay.
For instance, let's say I post something on Twitter. You know, Twitter has a view count.
Yeah.
So I post something on Twitter and I have 100,000 people viewing that tweet. And in that tweet, there's a video. And in that video, I also have a view count there. So I see that only 10,000 people got to watch the video. 100,000 people have seen the tweet, but 10,000 people watched the video. That is your conversion rate. It means that when you put something out, there's only 10,000 people who actually act on it. So that's a 10% conversion rate. Now, out of that conversion rate, that 10% now becomes 100%. And then you will have to find the people who would go the extra mile. So maybe in that video, I'm saying log on to a website. How many people from that 10,000
move to
the website?
Yeah.
That is the actual conversion rate, and that is the actual thing you base your work on.
Yeah.
But most influencers try to say, oh, I have 1 million followers, so a follower is 1 cent. But meanwhile,
They charge you per follower.
they charge you per follower. But meanwhile, maybe probably 20% of that following haven't had access to internet in a week.
Yeah.
And they haven't been online. They haven't seen it. And probably the post you are trying to make is transient. It's very time sensitive. So they need to look at it within a certain time frame. Probably you are doing a sales promotion, which is running for 3 days. And in a week, they are not able to log on onto the internet. They've missed that window. You haven't had your actions met. So that is like one of the very, very serious challenges that most brands are facing now. With how
So there's a lot of blame there.
I want to say something. He's actually right, because your followers obviously don't equate to the amount of selling power that you have. But I think one thing that brands often forget is not everybody with a large following is an influencer.
Okay.
I think that's where everything gets misconstrued. An influencer is somebody who has the power to promote a product and sell it. Just because you have a following doesn't mean people want to go buy the products that you use. So I think that's where the misconstruction...
So in this case, the image behind the following is also important.
Yeah. So
because people would want to go the extra mile because of the personality and not the following.
Yeah. Earlier on, I mentioned the key traits of an influencer: being credible, having expertise, and being able to engage your followers. I want to get a bit technical when it comes to marketing and putting out a message or an ad. There are certain things called the source, the channel, and then
the receiving end.
The receiving end.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to the source, which is in this case your video, the influencer you are trying to use to send your message, we have certain key traits called CAP, which is credibility, attractiveness, and power. So the credibility is what is going to make the consumer believe what it is we are selling. the attractiveness goes in to make them, oh, okay, I think I have an affinity to this product.
Yeah.
Let me think about it. And then the power is what is going to move them to take the action. So what is the action? Log on to a website and call this number.
Make a purchase.
Make a purchase. The power
which is the ultimate purchase.
Which is the ultimate. So if you're a brand and you're looking at engaging an influencer, you have to look at these three things and see if they you can't have two and not have one. You can't have one and not have two. You're supposed to have.
But is that the case in present time?
Yeah, it's the case.
Is that the case? With the many that we've seen?
Yeah.
Well, Nelisa is laughing.
Because
I want to believe that most of the influencers that we've seen, the so-called influencers that we've seen, have all these three topics. Which I doubt, right?
There are some who have. There are some who have that. And there are some who have maybe one or two, and they try to make up for the rest. And I can give you an example.
Yeah.
Recently, we had the issue where people rose concerns about
okay.
Yeah, marketing a certain
when she came back to apologize and all that.
You see, the problem with that is probably.
Oh, Aja, by the way, is one of our influencers here in this.
Okay.
She has a very big.
Okay. I'm definitely searching.
She doesn't seem lost.
So probably Haja Bintu's followers know her for a certain type of content she creates, and they don't really know her for the brand that she's trying to promote or the brand that she's trying to support. And it goes back to the issue of ethics. In ethical advertising, there's something called false endorsement. And that's when you endorse something that you haven't even used before. And the likelihood for Hadia to use such a product is very low. And people were able to see through that hogwash. They were able to see through that, okay, this doesn't look like something she use, so it's raising a bit of concern.
Yeah.
So let's talk down on it. And that was what sparked there, because we don't know Hadia Bintu for that. All you know is she pulls the camera up and then she shows us something, and then so if maybe she's marketing something around swimwear or something around clothes that can make your body pop.
Yeah, because that's what
that's what people know it for. And so I think it's just the influencers and the brands finding that middle ground to meet each other halfway and define the niche. So I know that, okay, this is the person I can imagine there's a TikToker or there's an influencer who talks about sex or the reproductive health, selling a product like that. That would be believable because you know that this is what you use your platform.
Yeah.
And it's not going to raise any concerns. So I just think we need to find that middle ground. And then everything will be okay.
All right, if you just join us here on the show, this is Prime Insight here on Prime Morning, and today on the show we're looking at influencers, whether they become an agent of social change or social disaster. I've got two very important personalities here with me in the studio. Ato Kilson is a PR consultant, a copywriter, and the founder for Fourth Avenue. And also in the studio with me is the one and only Nelisa from the Big Brother Titans, and she's here with us all the way from South Africa, spending some quality time with us over here. She's very, very big, very big. Oh, big literally. And she's also joining us here on the show. Well, like I said, big shout out to all of you on Instagram and on Twitter as well. Your fan base are just on Twitter right now. Everybody's just going crazy. They love you. They love you. Yesterday, they didn't make me sleep, you know. When is the live streaming going to be and all of that? But, I mean, I'm excited that you were able to make it for us this morning for us to have this conversation. And so you can also join us, send us your messages. WhatsApp line is very active, so you can send your messages to us, and you can also stream on Facebook. We're streaming live on Facebook. It's Joy Prime TV on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter. Got a couple of your messages coming through. I'll take time to read them. But let's get to this point. So at this point, and I'll begin with you, Nelisa.
Okay.
Do you think that I would rather becoming a problem to them, or you becoming a social change? And I want you to put yourself in that shoe with your other colleagues.
I think with everything in life, there's good and bad. I don't think it's either or. I think there will always be a group of people who puts influencing down, and there will always be a group of people who want to be the change they see in the world. Not to quote Gandhi, but like, I think that it's always going to be both. As you've seen, you said where it started. It started with Queen Charlotte in the 1800s. I'm sure there was bad to the influencing as well. So I think as time changes, who knows, in a few years' time, AI will be the new influencer, and there will be good and bad to that as well. So yeah, I think there's good and bad. It's not either or.
Atu, do you think that we're blaming them too much or becoming quote unquote nuisance to society? Because in recent times, most of the conversation has been around influencers and how fake they are becoming and how problematic they are becoming to society. I mean, over the past 3 days or 4 days or so, if you read comments on social media and the conversations that have, gone on, you be tempted to believe that whatever it is people have been raising concerns about seems to be the truth.
It's just coincidental. It's just coincidental. The fake it to make it issue is sometimes very necessary. In certain circles or in certain rooms, you have to fake certain things to get in there. So for me, I think socially and culturally, it's kind of important, but to an extent, everything has a limit. But with respect to influencers addressing social issues, that is a very slippery slope, because social issues require a very high level of skill and knowledge for you to do. So imagine maybe there is an election coming and you are putting pressure on a social media influencer to take a stand, or I mean, if they aren't very conversant with such a topic, it's going to be very difficult for them to share their thoughts on it. And so for me, I think sometimes the consumers or the fans also put undue pressure on the influencers for them to address these social issues. Because for me, I would advise as an influencer, if you are not conversant on a certain topic, you just don't need to address it.
Does it mean also that maybe people are not understanding their job or who they are, and so some of the conversations they want to engage them in and not in the first place conversations they have to even involve them in?
Yeah.
So where's the problem coming from? Us, the ones that are pushing all these conversations on them, or they also accepting the fact that, well, I don't know, but I still want to just, because I'm going to be.
He wants
our own master.
Our own master.
He's a rapper in Ghana.
Okay.
So yeah, but after that,
I'm sure
Yeah, like I'm putting down notes.
You
Like,
know how to these, right?
yeah.
Yeah, so...
Oh, why is the rapper in there? He's a famous rapper.
He's a very famous philosopher as well.
Yeah.
He once said that what is famous is really wise. Yes. So if you're a follower, you would, and you have that at the back of your mind, that what is famous is very wise. I mean, I come online and talk about shoes, or I come online and I just turn and shake my butt. That is what I am good at. Don't put pressure on me for me to talk about a social issue like climate change or like politics or something.
But you seem to be pushing yourself in the public's eye, so people are made. To understand that you've read wide. And so there are issues that even if you can't be technical about it, you'll be able to at least share your views and make sense.
That's the issue. That's where the problem is. Because fundamentally, people in you have to, when it comes to
Nelisa, what do you think of that?
I like
putting too much pressure on you people, thinking that, you know, as long as you say you are in the public's eye, you're representing a certain brand or image, you have to know everything. And so don't come and be telling us things that we feel like, we thought we were better.
At the end of the day, social media, you can always log off. If you don't know what you're talking about, log off. You can actually log off. Like,
you're the part of trying to make money on that.
I know, but like, I'm very big on social injustices. I talk about a lot. And I think my management sat me down and they're like, Nelisa, you need to pick and choose what you want to talk about. So that when you do talk about these things, we are up to date on what's going on in the world. So you don't see, because say for instance, I might talk about, we have something called load shedding in South Africa.
Yeah.
I at our power station every other day, I'd be like, I don't like them. And then somebody will remind me, they're like, you guys are lucky that you have a schedule. There are places in Africa that the lights just go off for 2 days. I'm like, but you mean 2 days? They're like, yeah, you are crying for 2 hours. There are people who are crying for 2 days. Yeah. So then they're like, you need to understand that when you put something out, you're not just talking to South Africa anymore. Unfortunately, you were on a platform that was shown over 46 countries. You've got people from these countries watching you, and they're sitting thinking, you're crying over 2 hours. So like, I think you need to be able to know where you're going to stand with certain things, not just jump into everybody's talking about this, I'm going to jump in. Yeah, because you might not know what you're saying. You might not know what the current thing is, and you might be isolating some people with what you're saying because you're limited on what you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. Now let me try and read some of the messages. This one says, "Hello, good morning. Greetings to all of you from Kumasi." So that's another place that you should visit if you can. Kumasi is a lovely place. You eat a lot of food, and by the time you leave here, you'll become ×3 of your body. So you should be thinking about that too. Another one of you says, "Good morning, Prime morning. Watching you live from Georgia, Volta region. I would love you so much, Nelisa. You look good. Welcome to Ghana." All right, so that's another love over there. Another one over here says, "Good morning, Joy Prime TV. And Nelisa, thank you for gracing our TV this morning. Joy Prime, please retain Nelisa. She's got business in South Africa." Okay, we'll see about that. It goes on and says, "My family and I hardly watch TV, but we were watching today because of Nelisa. Big love." Oh, I'm touched. No, I think it makes sense for us to retain you. This one over here is coming from Kalishonikov, and it says, "Watching online, thank you, Nelisa on screen, and Nelisa the Conqueror." And this one is on social media, Twitter. This one says that, "Can we please have the IG live along?" You guys got it all. I mean, go and check them out. And okay, this one is also asking us for us to stream it live. So we're streaming it live on Facebook, by the way, so you can check it. But we're going to put the interview on our social media pages when we are done, so you can access those that you've not been able to, follow here. We're just about wrapping up. Let me find out. So, what are you doing now in Ghana? When do you go back? What are some of the plans that you've put out there? Or you're about to, for your fans to know all of that?
So I'm actually not going home after this. I'm going straight to Nigeria.
Oh, from here?
Yeah, I'm going to Nigeria from here. I'm going to go see my partner in crime, Mr. Yemi Craigs. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to explore a bit of Nigeria. And then I go home and start shooting my podcast.
Okay.
So that is coming up. I'm very excited about that too. And then everything else, I move in silence like a G in lasagna. So everything else people will see as it comes. But yeah, those are my immediate immediate plans for now. But I loved Ghana. I actually leave Ghana tomorrow. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to stay for much long, but I'm definitely coming back.
Well, what is that one thing that has changed ever since you became a star and you wish you could still be doing that one thing?
Sleep.
You don't sleep?
There's no sleep. Like, there's always something that I need to do. And sometimes I'm just like, you can't switch on. Like, something could be very important. For instance, my manager could be calling me with something that he needs to finalize at this moment. And Nelisa took a 5-minute nap. That time I wake up and he's like, Nelisa, I needed your approval so I could go ahead with something. Now I have to reschedule. I'm like, oh, okay. Can I go to sleep now? No, stay on, be available. So, yeah, I really miss sleep. Yeah.
Any regrets from the house? Something you did? You look back, you felt you could have done better?
I mean, what's life without regrets? I think there are a couple of regrets, but everything that happened to me in that house, I think, happened for the better. Like, I'm a better person now. And I don't think I would be where I am right now, sitting here in Ghana, if everything hadn't transpired the way it did. So, yeah.
Yeah, has anything about your love life changed? Oh, come on.
Nelisa is...
You're getting too many proposals. You're sorting them out. Management is on task.
Nelisa's all about the money.
Oh.
If it's not money, why are you calling me?
We have a lot of men who have money in the country, so we don't mind.
No, but I want to make my own. I'm an independent woman.
Yeah, I know, right? They can support you.
They can support me after I've got my millions, and then we can compare who has more. Yeah.
Anyway, also, before we go, and I want to be very straightforward with you. So, what do you make of Haja for Real's situation right now? From your point of view, you've done this, you've seen brands rise, fall, and all that. At this stage, what do you make of it?
I think now it has progressed to a legal issue, so you can't really say much about it. But the only concern I have is how her team has been able to handle the issue PR-wise. I think with issues like this, it's not guilty until proven guilty. So, and when I was reading the court documents, I think she pleaded not guilty.
Yeah.
So I was expecting her team to, put out a news release to kind of address the situation.
They did release one.
That was earlier.
That was earlier.
In the early stages.
Yes. And yesterday, there's another one yesterday that I've seen, which is still maintaining the fact that she's not been moved to anywhere. And I think that's where you're coming from, because they could have, for me and from my point of view, they could have done better with that press release, because a lot of tabloids have reported this issue. It's gone far. And so when you come back and you still defend it, like the way they defend it.
It's even on the US State Department's website.
Exactly. So this is what, for the purposes of this conversation, so this is what they released. Attention has been drawn to publications making rounds on social media and news portals of the conviction and 10-year jail sentence of Moafais Montrage and the current detention of a daughter, a minor, by the US authorities. We would like to state categorically that the said report are false. Now the facts. Mona is currently in the UK. She's neither been put on trial or convicted in the UK or US. Mona has not been extradited to the US or anywhere in the world. Mona's daughter is neither in the hands of the US authorities nor restricted in any way. So, I mean, this is what is circulating right now.
There are a number of things wrong with the news release.
That's where my problem was.
Even from looking at it, because with respect to the signage, it's supposed to be addressed to someone in particular. There's supposed to be a point of contact. And they just signing it by management is very big. And it also leaves a lot of questions. Yeah, so I think
if you can manage it better.
PR-wise, they are not handling the issue well at all. Okay.
What message would you give to social media influencers out there?
Have your knowledge, have your skill. I think in the space we are in now and where the world is progressing, knowledge is very, very, very important. And with how AI is even moving, trying to take people out of their business because they haven't really been able to, empower themselves or enrich themselves with knowledge. So I think as an influencer, it shouldn't just stop at you just creating content. You need to up your skill level, up your knowledge, up your expertise, and define your niche. Find a place where you feel comfortable in creating content and also attracting, brands, and also being able to build your personal brand itself. And I think that would ensure some longevity.
Awesome. Nelisa, if I don't let you say thanks to your fans, they will kill me. So maybe we can go ahead.
They will kill me too.
So let's do it for them.
To all the Lee stands watching, thank you very much for all the support. I love and appreciate you guys to the moon and back. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for having me here.
Pleasure to have you, and I must say it's been very insightful with you both. I've really had a good time, learned a lot from you both as well, and like I say, I'm grateful for making time for us this morning here on the show. Great stuff. Now, social media influencer sounds like a fake job, right? Well, it turns out to be the one hottest jobs you can find right now, thanks to the rise of social media pages and platforms. Now these days you can actually make yourself famous on social media by building a following around your passion, whatever it may be, and then convert that into a living by charging companies to place ads in the mix with their social media posts as well. Now the next time your mom tells you that you spend too much time on your phone, you can tell her that you're just building a career. That's our conversation for this morning here on the show on Prime Insight. But let's get this conversation on the other side where we have messages from our viewers out there, and then we say goodbye. This one says, Nelisa is a superstar. Indeed, I agree with you 1,000%. She knows what she's about, and that's all this is all about. Hi, Joy Prime. Tell Nelisa that her brother Yemi corrects is proud of her. She's going to Nigeria to meet him actually. Loco Rangaswamy says, so proud of you, Smalley. Well, she may probably not leave here Smalley. She's not too much eating right now. You went and conquered, indeed. And Adam says, watching from Nigeria, this is amazing. I've learned a lot. We've all learned a lot from these two amazing personalities who joined me over here this morning. Okay, so I have another one. I'm enjoying the show at CFC Estate, Domain Main Security Entrance. Solomon Nensa sent in that one as well. So those were your messages on the show this morning. I would like to say a big thank you to you for getting interactive with us here on the show.